Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. It's Daryl here. It is 4 a.m. on the dot here in Connecticut on the East Coast. Um, Today, I want to talk about Mike Bloomberg has been on the hot seat a lot for stop and frisk, racial profiling kind of stuff. And even though I'm not, I still haven't made my mind up as to who I'm going to endorse, but um, let me tell you, I spent a lot of time on the streets when I was a drug addict. I dealt drugs, distributed, and I used drugs. I spent a lot of times. I live on the right on the outside of cities. Um, I would go into the city every day, multiple times a day, to all the way down to the Bronx outside of Yankee Stadium, um, to get what I needed. I'm gonna tell you guys. I'm gonna tell you guys what I know. Um, I'm going to tell you, drug users, drug dealers, and police know this stuff. Um, Police can't come on here. A white cop can't come on here and tell you what I'm going to tell you because he'd be singled out. First of all, it'd be immediately singled out as discrimination, prejudice, etc. But I'll tell you exactly how it works. Um, the stop and frisk stuff. Okay, every day, every single day for years, I was carrying drugs on me all the time. As a heroin addict, I had to do that. It was just the way I had to function. That's the way it came to be. It wasn't always like that, but that's the way it came to be. Even when I just went out to go to the store, I had to bring some with me. So I always had drugs on me, always. Um, I remember all the time walking up by cops, talking to police, going by police cars, constantly every day, being within a couple feet of a police with a large amount of drugs on me or in my car. I remember being frisked on the back of my car with a large amount of drugs in the trunk and then being let go. Um, Police know this. Drug users, drug dealers know this. But it's not okay for police to tell you this. Um, Police can tell. They're out there every day. They know even better than drug users. They're out there every day and they know how this works. Just like I can go into a neighborhood and I could, a strange neighborhood, and immediately find the drug dealer. There's just signals. It's easy to spot. I could go to St. Louis. What's it, the north side of St. Louis, probably? Or south side of Chicago. And drive in and spot a drug dealer within, you know, 2 minutes. Um, but here's my point: the police can do the same thing. You probably even better than I can because they're out there 24/7. Well, during their shifts. So the stop and frisk thing. Um, on one hand, police can see a lot more than we can. They know it all comes down to good cops and bad cops, really. Um, you get a good cop, and he could sense these things. He could see these things, and you get a smart drug dealer, and he's going to do stuff that's not going to allow him to be frisked or stopped. So it's going to be hard to catch him. So these stop and frisk things could make it a lot easier, especially in drug infested neighborhoods or violent. Let me tell you another thing. Almost all crime revolves around drugs, without a doubt. And it's not all drug users stealing to get drugs. It's way deep, way more than that. It goes way, way beyond that. Car theft, murder, rape, domestic violence, robbery, burglary, home invasion, all could almost 99% of those things could be tied back in some way or shape or form to drugs. Drugs are a scourge, believe me. Just on a brief note, we've had people here in the state talking about legalizing marijuana. Marijuana is a whole other entity unto itself. Whether it should be legalized, yeah, probably. I don't use it. I haven't touched it in over 14, probably 13, 14 years. 13 years, 4 months. But it's a whole different. It is not cocaine. It is not crystal meth. It is not heroin. Not even close. It's like comparing alcohol and coffee. It's just not even close. All right. I'm going to tell you guys something else now, too. A cop can't tell you what I'm about to tell you because it would be considered insanely racist and prejudiced, but it's the truth. It is the truth. There's certain races, there's certain people that deal certain drugs. It's just the way it works. It's the economics, at least up here in the Northeast, and I'm not just going to say not my state, but in the entire Northeast, this is how it works. Excuse me. We'll start with large amounts of cocaine. Crystal meth, I don't know, so I won't speak on it. Large amounts of cocaine, like ounces, half keys, and up. A kilo is 2.2 pounds. Large amounts. Usually, from my experience, it's a white guy dealing that. Probably a white businessman. Probably a white businessman with very little record, but ties to larger organizations. Yeah, usually it's a white business guy that will be dealing the huge amounts. And I'm going to catch all sorts of flack for that, but this is what I know as the truth. I'm not saying anything that I don't believe 100%. Okay, heroin, street dealing, heroin, Puerto Ricans. I bought exclusively from Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are the only people that sold it around here. Down in the southwest, it's Mexican people. It's two different drugs. It's black tar heroin down in the southwest. It's powder from Southeast Asia here. This is the people that deal this not exclusively, but almost exclusively. If somebody were to send me to get heroin and I came back and I told this person, they gave me $200 and I came back and I said I got it from a white guy, the person wouldn't even look at it and they tell me to bring it back or give me their money back. That's just how it is. That's just how it works. There's probably so many layers of social economics and location and geography that go into this that I would just be guessing. All right. Rock cocaine. Black people, African Americans, that's who you go to get. That's around here. That's where you go. It's a fact. It's just the way it works. You don't buy crack from white guys. You don't buy heroin from white guys. You don't buy heroin from black guys. It sounds racist, but this is how it works. I don't know what else I could compare it to. Like Italian people making pizza or Italian food or Chinese people owning Chinese restaurants. That's just how it works. It's the social economics. Here's a good example I didn't even think of. Take, for instance, the Chinese restaurants around here. They have connections down to all the trucks and Chinese restaurants up here. You see the trucks down from the Bronx pulling up with graffiti all over them. They pull up here every day from New York. Those are their connections. And then probably from China or Japan or whatever, they come into New York. It's all connections, geography, social connections. It's the same exact thing with drugs. So that's just how it is. I hesitate almost now to make this video, but this is the truth. Okay, now this will go back to the stop and frisk. Say you're looking, these police day after day, and they know the records of these people. I know drug dealers that were arrested 3, 4, 5 times, and they are out within hours selling the drugs again and laughing at the police. Literally driving by the police, pointing and laughing. True story. So these police, police don't talk a lot about this stuff, I don't think, but they know. They know. So the stop and frisk, I'm very ambiguous on this. The stop and frisk stuff, I'm against, but there has to be something where police can use their knowledge to do their job, to use the street knowledge that they've acquired to do their job. Stop and frisk, really, I don't like this. I don't like it. I don't like the sound of it. All I can picture is a jackboot Nazi grabbing everybody on the street looking for Jewish people. That's as soon as you say stop and frisk, that's what I picture. I don't like it. I don't like it. It means innocent people are going to be harassed. Okay, so you have innocent black, okay, you got black kids out there, right? That could be mistaken easily for crack dealers. It's the truth. The police in general will know. There's, like I said, there's little tells. You can see this, especially undercover cops can see these things. These just it's a fraction of a second glance, and bam, you could tell who's dealing drugs. It's something you just acquire. You see it over and over and over again. And you could tell the mannerisms. You could just tell the expression on somebody's face. It's that easy. So, what does it come down to? It comes down to good cops or bad cops, really. There's going to be police that aren't concerned, that are racist, that will do the wrong thing, that will harass all black people, the wrong black people, the wrong Puerto Rican people, the wrong white people. Like I said, there's business owners. I remember white business owners that dealt large-scale cocaine, but it's, you know what? That's not even true, because they're not going to harass the white business owners. They're really not. I can't picture that, and I don't ever remember seeing that. That's why they get away. That's why they deal the large amounts, because they can get away with it, because they have the cover. So I guess that's not really true. The black people and the Puerto Rican people, the people of color, are going to be the ones that are targeted. But like I said, with the police, me being on the streets all that time, you could tell. You could easily tell. I could get it wrong maybe 5-10% of the time. In that 5-10%, the wrong person's going to be picked if I was a policeman. And that's not cool. But if I was I'm not a black person, and I have no idea what it feels like to be one. They've got to see these drug dealers out there every day. I don't know what their feelings are. I don't know if they benefit from these. I can't imagine that they benefit from people dealing drugs in their neighborhoods, unless they're being specifically paid off. I would imagine that they'd want their neighborhoods cleaned up, and they'd welcome some level. To be honest, I think it'd be more helpful to have black people, the more black police policing black neighborhoods, so they understand the neighborhood better. I know that sounds incredibly racist, but it's something that I think would work better. And the same thing with Puerto Rican neighborhoods. I don't know. Okay, one more thing on how this works too. So there's a lot of rural areas, out smaller towns, and it's all white out there. And a lot of these white guys are just afraid to go into the city, and they'll have people. I used to work in the middle. This is how I made my drugs. This is how I got my drugs. I worked in between. They'd come to me, and I would go into the city and bring it back. And that's how I earned my, that's how I was enabled to be a drug addict for so long, is by enterprising, by hurting other people, by getting them their drugs. Unfortunately, something I'm not proud of, but it's the truth. So to end this video, there's no real answer. Police need a certain latitude to do their job. Good cops will know and will be able to do their job if they're allowed to. There's always going to be bad cops, and this stop and frisk thing will make it a lot easier for bad cops to be worse. So I guess it could make good cops better. It could make bad cops worse. That's it. But in general, I don't agree with it. I think it's a bad thing. And then you got to remember too, New York City is way. I use the word microcosm again. These cities around here are very small little microcosms, and New York City is a whole different animal in itself. For those of you that have been there, it's not just a movie. All right. You guys have a great Monday. Take care.